Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? Massive evening. Belgium are playing live right now actually, and Romelu Lukaku is not playing for Belgium. He's on the bench, so that's one big positive. Another positive: you shouldn't laugh, but they were laughing about Fellaini being injured. Sadio Mane is out for 6 weeks for Liverpool. He definitely will not play in the Liverpool game at the weekend, and this is about, can Mourinho, is there any realistic chance that Jose Mourinho could finish Klopp at Liverpool? And I, to be honest with you, as big a statement as that is, yes, I do. I firmly believe that he can. For the simple reason that this, I don't want to give my age away, but most years, Liverpool, Anfield is a step into the unknown. Even in the class of 99, you'd hope that we're going to go and win, but it's a big game for them. It is their cup finally, and the other way round. Liverpool at Old Trafford is a big game for us. I'm not demeaning them by saying it's a cup final. It really is. But I can't think of many years that Manchester United have gone to play a Liverpool side that in my mind is very weak, a Manchester United side which is very confident and good. I think this is a massive opportunity. People are talking about us polishing the bus and everything like that. Forget it. Leave the bus at home. There should be no parking of buses. I think Liverpool are absolutely primed to be beaten, and it's almost touching on failure if we come away with a draw. They've lost Mane. I mean, I'll put a scenario for you now. As bad as I would like Fellaini to play against Liverpool for the reasons I've already said, but to be honest with you, hand on heart, if somebody said, we can give you a scenario where it's Fellaini and Mane and they'll both miss the game, will you take it, or do you want them both to play? To be totally honest, I would take it. I don't wish injury on either of them, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying if the offer was, you take Fellaini out of your side and we'll take Mane out of ours, I'll take it. Mane's their best player. It was up until for most of last season when he didn't play, they couldn't win. Now, obviously, they've got the Ox. We've got to be scared of the Ox. I'm only joking. But, Firmino's okay. Coutinho's decent. But they haven't, with Mane out their team, they haven't got the players to hurt us, I don't think. And he's their best attacker. We know they're weak at the defence. I tell you what, for me, we've got to unleash Martial. Martial's come out today saying that he's very settled at Manchester United. He's very happy at Manchester United. If I was Jose now, I would. They're going to be on the floor, a bit like we were yesterday when we were worried about Fellaini and Lukaku. They're going to be on the floor. They've lost their best player, and I think we've got to take the initiative. I think this is the best chance we've had in years to go into Liverpool and win. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to win because it's Liverpool against Manchester United, and anything can happen in that, and they will be motivated, and it's a game of football at the end of the day. But it's a massive opportunity for us, and I think we've got to do it. And then I think on from that, if we do win this game, where is there for Klopp to go? I think they're already failing this season. He's got a worse win rate than Moyes and Van Gaal and even Brendan Rodgers. I think it causes him a lot of problems. So, I mean, I've had Liverpool fans saying to me, you're joking, you won't put our manager under any pressure at all, but I really, really do. Rodney, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad.
I was just saying there, in light of this Sadio Mane being out for Liverpool, and yeah, we are sad about what's happened to Fellaini, but I'll be honest, if somebody'd offered me Fellaini out and Mane out, not injuries, just like neither can play, I think I'm more than happy with that. They lose their best player and we lose a player who, if everyone's playing well, is probably not in my team. So it's not good that they're injured. That's not what I'm saying. But I think as long as Lukaku gets through tonight, and he is on the bench for Belgium, so hopefully he won't be coming on and getting injured anyway. As much as we've moaned about this international break, well, we went into it knowing Pogba was out anyway, and if we come out with it losing just Fellaini and they've lost Mane, it's better for us than it is for Liverpool.
I mean, any Liverpool team that doesn't have Mane in it is a team that you want to face, and I think when you kind of measure up in terms of the players that both teams will lose, it will be definitely a greater loss for Liverpool having Mane absent. I'm not sure he is going to be injured. I don't trust anything that comes out of the Liverpool camp right now. They will be well aware that Man United have been flying in terms of results, and they will, for me, put out smoke screens in terms of who's injured and who isn't injured. I mean, we're the same in a sense because we've asked questions about whether Pogba is injured or whether how long he's going to be injured and whether he'll be back for the Liverpool game, um, or beyond. So it really is important for us to get a result against them. And for me, I would be like you. I'd think, yeah, if we could take one player out of our team and they lose Mane, I would take Fellaini out because he definitely is the player. Well, he's one of the players who would pose us a problem in any game at any time.
Yeah, I mean, just on Mane, it's reported widely. It's not in the Mirror. It's not in the... Well, it probably is, but it's in the BBC, Telegraph, and the BBC have said that he was substituted in the 89th minute of a 2-0 win over Cape Verde. Hamstring, out 6 weeks. So I think he has got an injury, and I'd be stunned. You know, the thing is, you know what? I never say never, Rodney, and I understand what you're saying, but he clearly has got a hamstring injury. And would Liverpool risk him for one game with a hamstring injury? Then he could potentially miss another 6. I think they'll take the hit. I think he's out, and for me, it is a positive for United. Look, injuries are part of it, and you don't wish injury on anybody, but when they've happened, they've happened, and I think it is a positive for us. I was talking about Klopp there. Look, Liverpool are going to be up for this, and a Premier League game, any team can beat anybody, but. I don't know how you feel about it and how we should approach this game, but Klopp's got no plan B. He's only got attack. He's just lost his best attacker. That weakens them. How do you approach the game if you're Jose Mourinho? People are terrified that we're going to go there and park the bus. I said at the start of the show, they are weak, we are strong, and we should just go for them. We should go toe-to-toe with them because we can score more goals, and I think we should do that. But is that in Mourinho's makeup to do that?
I think it probably is. I think the way that the team has progressed since the beginning of the season, I think he's confident in terms of how the team have gelled and the understanding between the players. Liverpool, as you say, have no plan B. You know, they will basically try and attack all out from the very beginning of the game, which will probably suit Mourinho. Mourinho will set up a very strong back four and protect it with Matic and another. Which discussed, it could be Jones, it could be Swansea. But I think in terms of Manchester United posing a threat to any team and Liverpool, we have the players that can do that at any point in the game. And we have shown, the last 20 minutes or so, Manchester United are scoring goals. This time last year, we were looking at a 1-0 and thinking, might we get 3 points, and then ending up with 1 point. And then talking about the missed chances that didn't go in. I'm very, very confident about a Manchester United's team that goes to Anfield this weekend. And, the German cheerleader can do all he wants, jumping up and down on the touchline. Mourinho will have drilled everyone, regardless of how long they've had away. They will be aware about this game, and they'll be ready.
The German cheerleader is right.
Yeah.
He is, he gets away with a lot. He's a passion monster, but he's ultimately stats over 2 years are just not good enough. Very confident like yourself, but there are a few reservations, and those few reservations are that it's straight after an international break, which always stunts flow. Away team as well. That's straight after an international break isn't ideal. Saturday lunchtime kickoff tend to be after the international break. Quite cold. They are things that play into Liverpool's hand. They had a bad result before the international break. We had a good one, so the break does them good. They are the home team, so that does them good. And the 12:30 kickoff, it does them good because if they are a bit cold, they've got the fans to get them going. So it's interesting how Liverpool might approach the game. I think without Mane, they really do become a mid-table team. And a mid-table team at home, up for it. Of course they can beat Manchester United. I'm not so arrogant as to say that. But I've never felt so confident about a Liverpool game than I do right now. I think, the Fellaini thing was a blow. But with Mane out for them, I just really feel Martial should start and we should go on the front foot.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of jotted down names as who to start. I wouldn't necessarily start with Martial. As much as I think he's been my best player this year, I would actually keep him, under wraps for the second half because we know that Liverpool only play one way. And at some point in the game, for all of their efforts, they will blow out of puff. And that's the moment that you would want Martial to kind of come on and basically take apart any of the right back or centre backs that have stepped up to him this season because he has drifted past players as if they're not there. I would very much like to see the team that has started consistently since the beginning of the season, given a start against Liverpool, and Martial just be kept back for the latter parts of the game, or even just the second half. It would be interesting.
I've just realised that I haven't said hello to the live comments. Hello to the live comments.
Hello, live comments.
We got Rodney on tonight, which will be on a Tuesday, so we do like to take some of your questions as well. So do fire us in some questions. AJ Nell says there's not even 1,000 people watching. Well, we're only 13 short, AJ, so I wouldn't worry too much. Lukaku is fit, says Akil Ray. Well, he's on the bench for Belgium. I hope he doesn't play. I think Martinez would have been a brave idiot to do that. Somebody just said that Mane's injured. Hooray! I don't wish injury on anyone. I can't pretend that I do, but I do find it quite funny that Liverpool fans were mocking us about Fellaini on Twitter. And to those select few, it's not. I do know Liverpool fans, and some of them are actually okay. It's football. That is football. I'm sure Liverpool fans are absolutely gutted, but Rodney, we've been without Pogba for over a month now, and we've had to crack on. And arguably, I'd probably say Martial, but Martial doesn't start every game. Pogba does. Pogba's probably our best player, and we've had to do it without him. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for Liverpool, but I can understand their frustration with the international break.
I mean the international break is an equaliser for every single team that has top quality stars in it. I mean, we are moaning about possible injuries to Fellaini. We're worrying about Lukaku playing a game he doesn't need to play. Every team that's in the top 4, 5, or 6 has got players that are travelling around the world. So, we're upset. Liverpool may be upset. It's just how it works out for top teams of our stature. I mean, unfortunately, the international breaks are boring. But because players are playing so many games, whether it be pre-season tours, travelling back, travelling to games, not getting enough recuperation, and before the season is really in flow, they're called back again to international duty. The rhythm is broken up, so obviously injuries will happen. So I'm not, for me, I'm not upset in the sense that Liverpool are suffering like us or any other team. Unfortunately, players get injured, but it would seem that other players are injured in other teams. So it kind of balances out in the end.
I just want to give when you were talking then, I was thinking about this Liverpool game, and this international break is boring, you're right, and a part of me just wants to go, yes, yeah. It's Tuesday night, we're 3 days away from the biggest game, toughest game of the season, away to Liverpool, and football's back. I'm very excited about it. I mean, we've got a Liverpool fan on there saying LFC Gamer, he says it's all going to come back to haunt you on Saturday. Maybe it will. Maybe it will, but
I doubt it very much.
Rodney's laughing and saying it won't. But that's the beauty of football. If we knew we were going to batter you on Saturday, it'd be very boring. Yeah. It's that excitement and unknown about it that makes football the best game in the world. So I think I'm very confident. I think that for me is the thing, Rodney. Really, is that normally I go. Even last year I remember Anfield. You're like, oh God. I'd love us to nick it. I've seen us nick it before. Didn't Van Hal? We absolutely got played off the park at Anfield and we nicked it 1-0. It wasn't the Mata one. I think it was. It might have been the year before. We played absolutely rubbish and we won 1-0. It was a total smash and grab. But I'm normally very worried about Anfield and probably was yesterday. But I think with the Mane thing, I'm suddenly like, what are we scared of? What are we scared of, really? Very good. Rodney, I just want you to have a think about something, and people at home, actually, just while I take some of the live comments. I'm really intrigued to know, and it might take you a minute or so to think about it while I'm going through the live comments. I'm really intrigued to know what your combined Manchester United Liverpool side would be. So I'll give you a minute to have a think on that. Could be a whitewash. Andrew Kay says, I think Martial needs to start. He wasn't selected for France and Rashford's been turning out for England. Yeah, we said that the same after the last international break, and he still put Martial on the bench against Stoke, didn't he? And he played him. Unleash the horses now, says Vince Chapman. Blind in midfield tonight, and Flex interviewing Mata, says Dan Butterworth. Yeah, Flex is interviewing Mata on Thursday for the United stand. That should be going up on Friday, which is great. FNAO has made a contribution. Thanks for that. He says, why not start Martial and end the game in the first half? Yes, I like it. You all confident? Oh, LFC Gamer again. I've read that. If Matic plays well, they won't stand a chance. I think that's a very good comment from Alan Roberts. You know, this is the first time we've gone to Anfield with Matic in it. This is the first big game with Matic in it. Don't underestimate that, Matic. And Herrera's got to turn up. Slightly worried about the ref, but we've got to be careful and just be careful about that. What you think the score will be, says Typical Savage. I think you can pick any score you want on Saturday. It could be anything. It could be, you know, any result. Liverpool could win it. We could win it well. Draw. The whole United team with Mane or Coutinho, says Ryan McSwiggan. Okay, so have you had a thought, Rodney? Go through it then. What would
and we're actually talking about this current Liverpool team, not going years back. This current Liverpool team.
No. So everybody's fit. You can have Mane if you want, and obviously Pogba's fit for United. So what's the combined Liverpool United team?
Well, obviously it has to be De Gea in goal.
Yeah,
it has to be. I'm not giving much love to Liverpool. I'm going to be frank. Bailey and Jones is my centre backs.
Yeah, well, to be honest, you could put me and you as centre backs, and we'd still be, you know, as United fans, we'd be better than Liverpool's first choice. So
their
no
two
shots
centre backs are like the new Laurel and Hardy. I'm not. They are comedy waiting to happen.
They are.
Valencia right back. Yeah. And you know, can you believe it? I'll actually put Ashley Young.
You'd have to, because they've got that Mourinho joke, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm like,
he's the worst one.
He's like thinking someone who's not even naturally left-footed would make a combined team. Okay, so he's there. Matic definitely. Matic for me definitely. In their midfield.
So their midfield at the moment is Henderson, Emre Can, and Wijnaldum, isn't it? Pretty much, or maybe Coutinho as an attacking midfielder. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite difficult actually, because I do like Wijnaldum, and I liked him when he was at Newcastle. I thought he was a decent player, a decent holding midfielder. He's not someone who's going to be a world beater, but no, I'm not going with him. Actually,
it'd probably be Matic and Pogba, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be Matic and Pogba. I'm sorry, it has to be. The front, obviously Lukaku's got to be there. Obviously Rashford's got to be there. Obviously Martial's got to be there. I think for me, I would probably swap Mkhitaryan for Coutinho.
So Liverpool get one player in your 11.
Yeah, and he's leaving.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he's going to Barcelona. They need to understand that. He's just stopping for a few months.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. So Rodney's team, but then what people at home would be, I'll have a look at some of your comments. So he's saying De Gea, Valencia, Jones, Bailly, Young, Matic, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Lukaku, and Coutinho in Mkhitaryan's position. You know, I'm sure some people might say Mane, but not for Rodney, it's one. And just as a little touch on Mane, actually, somebody said it in the live comments, and I did just check it out as well. Liverpool's official account have tweeted that he's injured. So he's injured. He ain't playing on Saturday. So that is a big positive for us. Nigel Jones says he'd swap Mane for Rashford. That's about it. So at best, the thing is, at best, they probably get only two in your team.
Yeah. Two. No, yeah, honestly, Coutinho and Mane, and I've pushed Coutinho in because Mane is injured. That's it. I mean, the rest can stay there.
This is again another reason for United, and obviously the manager's still Mourinho. We don't swap our manager for Klopp, unless we wanted a German cheerleader, like you said. We're happy with Jose. So this is exactly why the only advantage Liverpool have at the weekend is Anfield, and I didn't think Anfield was great or intimidating at all last season. So I just think we've got to go. We've got to go there and win. I think Man City will go there and win. I think Chelsea might go there and win, and I think we've got to go there and win. Liverpool are a threat away from home, because counter-attacking football is his plan A. But at home, I think we've got to go there and win. And I think we're stepping into territory of Stoke Cities and West Hams and Evertons, because you can probably find one or two players from maybe Everton that you'd have in a United first 11. Maybe not. I don't know. But that is poor. I don't think I've ever known it so poor, really, Rodney, that there's only two Liverpool players you'd have in a combined 11.
Which is why I said, how far back do you go? Because I'm old, like legend itself.
Yeah.
And I can think of some great Liverpool players that, as a United fan, I'd be looking at them and thinking, God, what would they be like if they were in, Manchester United red, and I don't think I can ever. I mean, even with Suarez and his cheating ways, you'd look at him and you think he's a good player, but I wouldn't want him at Old Trafford. I think the only two in this current squad that I would actually go out of my way to say, would you like to go to Old Trafford, would be Mane and Coutinho. The rest, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't look twice. It's like that girl you walk past on the high street and you catch her eye. Once you see it once, you don't look back. You just keep walking because you just think, oh, something better's coming along in a minute. And that's what it is with the rest of the Liverpool squad. The only two that I would look at twice would be Coutinho and Mane, and that's it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Liverpool. I don't want to talk about Liverpool and their problems, but they just don't have any. They're a bit like Arsenal, really. They don't have any spine. They've got a manager who actually, if you let him play, has a very decent plan A, but has not sorted out so many problems. And I really, really, really hope that we go and attack them on Saturday lunchtime, and if we do that, we win the game, because their defence is atrocious, and we shouldn't fear their attack. I mean, people are saying who's going to deal with Salah. I think we're going down market there for me, Rodney. I mean, Salah's a decent player, but people are like now talking like Salah's like Eden Hazard level. He's not. He's just I don't rate Salah that much. I think he's had a decent start to the season, but he ain't going to turn up and tear us apart on his own. And if Liverpool score 3 with that team, then we should be scoring 4. I think the worst thing we can do is sit back, because what have they got to hurt us with? In fact, sitting back against Liverpool is probably the worst thing we can do, because what they do have is a player who, when he's not hitting fans behind the goal, actually, 1 in 10 of his shots can go in the top corner from distance. That's Coutinho. So sitting back against Coutinho is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of it, I mean, you wouldn't want to sit back against a Liverpool team that has those two players in it. As for Salah, he's only a problem when he gets the ball. And you either expect that United to have worked out a method and a plan where they maintain the ball at any point in the game or any part of the game in terms of the pitch, but also that they have the accuracy of passing for our forward players, and they stifle the midfield in Liverpool. They would have watched the way they've played. They very much like to put the ball over the top and Salah go onto it, and I think we've got the back four that are quick enough and alert enough to deal with that. If it were the other way around, I wouldn't say anything about the Liverpool back four stopping our front line. They'd be literally chasing dust. No chance.
Do you I mean, Thiago Miguel makes a good point. FIFA makes people think Salah is amazing. He's not. I'd agree with that. Herrera to man mark Coutinho, Agent Paul. I mean, in relation to United, some people think we're going to go 3-5-2, which I can see the value in it, because you get 2 up front. It would solve not having Fellaini, because you could just play 2 in the midfield. You get your width with your fullbacks. You get 3 at the back. Is that overkill to have 3 at the back, though, at Anfield against Liverpool? How do you think, or how would you, formation-wise, line up? What do you think we can expect on Saturday against Liverpool?
Well, I think if you play 3 at the back, you've got to make sure whoever's the central of the defensive 3 steps up and doesn't allow Coutinho, whoever plays in that withdrawn role, to get time on the ball. They have to be an intelligent footballer, because
that's where your man-to-man could come in, isn't it?
It really do. You need someone who's actually switched on all the time, because it's no good having a back 3 and everyone acts as an outright centre back. And Coutinho is cute enough to drop off 10 yards into midfield, pick the ball up, turn and spray the ball out, which is what you don't want. You don't want him doing that. The minute he starts to do that, then we're in trouble. It's about stopping players like him and Salah getting the ball. And I don't believe that the midfield that Liverpool have are cute enough to pass the ball around our midfield.
Chad wants you to do an ultimate Manchester United Liverpool combined. Maybe we can do that in the last few minutes, and Rodney can get his thinking head on. A few people saying Herrera needs to do the Hazard shutdown. I agree with Rodney, to be honest. I think the 3-5-2 is probably what I would go with. I know I'm preaching back to the US tour, but I liked it against Moscow, which coincidentally was an away game, wasn't it? Coincidentally, we didn't play Fellaini. I think the 3-5-2 could work really well, but what the problem is, and Rodney's alluding to it there, is that they only play Firmino up front, and he's a bit of a false 9. So 3 centre-backs on Fabinho's a waste of time. So I would hope Phil Jones is fit play him with Smalling and Bailly, leave Smalling and Bailly back to deal with Firmino, tell Jones to just follow Coutinho everywhere, leave Matic and Herrera as a midfield 2, with Mkhitaryan ahead of them, with Martial and Lukaku as a front 2, and then use Valencia and Young as, yes, wing backs when we need to defend, but pouring forward when we're on the attack. And I think that will cause Liverpool a lot of problems, because we're very defensive when we need to be, but we're very offensive when we've got the ball, and Mkhitaryan plays when I don't actually think, maybe he probably shouldn't, or maybe Mata should, but it allows us to up front. I think if we can sort a formation that's got a front 2, whether it's Lukaku and Rashford or Lukaku and Martial, that is going to royally that's going to royally mess Liverpool up. Lukaku can probably do it on his own, but if we can find a formation that gets 2 up front, I can see that. I'm not expecting a clean sheet. I don't know about you, Rodney, but if they score 3, we score 4, and I think let's just do it one off. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I actually would like us to go there and run riot against that, because I don't have any faith in their back line. I think they're really slow and ponderous. Apart from Moreno, who might be, quite quick, and the right side is his name escapes me at the moment. Their right-sided defender, the 2 centre backs.
Yatip, is it, or something?
Yeah, Yatip and Lovren. They just look. They look like they're running in mud the whole time, running in mud and treacle. And I think someone like Lukaku and Rashford, who are quick, would literally have them spinning all day. And again, I think in terms of like the 3-5-2, whether it be Lukaku Rashford or Lukaku Martial or Lukaku, and if it is Lukaku Mkhitaryan, he has to be closer than he was in the previous game to make that combination work, because he spent far too much time away from him in the last game against Palace. So yeah, I think that it would be. I mean, even if you didn't have Mkhitaryan and you had a Lukaku, and worst case scenario, Lingard.
Lingard could play a part in this game.
Really and truthfully, because they may think, oh, he's going to start with Mkhitaryan, and for all intents and purposes, he might be on the bench.
Well, a lot of people are saying in the live comments, Lingard, no, and all that. But, I'm not messing around here. I'm saying it with a straight face. Liverpool are a mid-table team without Mane. They're not, if we give them the ball and sit back and park the bus, which we should definitely not do now, but if we sit back with 11 men behind the ball like we did last year, and you give Henderson time, he will look like a decent footballer. If you press Henderson and Lovren and Mourinho and whoever else crap they've got, then they will panic, and we will override them. And that, we've got to be brave enough to do that. I think there's a lot to be said. I'll do my tactics show tomorrow night, but I think there's a lot to be said. Maybe. I don't necessarily think we need to now. I think with Mane in the team, then maybe it wasn't a bad idea. First 20 minutes, keep it nice and tight. Martial's on the bench. Second half, kill him. I think somebody said it. I think this game could be done by half time if we approached it in the right way. Because if we get ahead, I don't see him coming back. I just don't. It's not impossible. Yeah. It's not impossible, but I just think we are big favourites now. Yeah,
I mean, thinking about any kind of particular scoreline, as much as I would like another 4-0, even if we, scored 4 and they scored 2, that's something that I kind of would be thinking that Man United would go there and score goals, because we are scoring goals. And I think Liverpool haven't, even though they may have had a heavy defeat earlier on, they still believe that they're capable of scoring goals against any other team, but they've not faced us yet, and we're a different outfit to what we were last year. Totally different in mindset alone and application on the ball. So, for a long time, I would never have said that I would have been this confident before a Liverpool game, but I am very, very confident.
Yeah, and my confidence levels have definitely gone up with the Mane thing. It is massive. The injury's there now. There's nothing wrong with being happy about it. Yeah. We didn't wish the injury on him. I didn't expect Liverpool to have any injuries. But now
No.
he's got it. I can't sit here and pretend, oh, I wish we were playing Liverpool's best player. You know, it's football. That's how it is. Talking of which, there's plenty of you watching. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. It's Rodney on a Tuesday night, so I know a lot of you people like Rodney. So drop a like on the video. And we're only 8 subscribers away from 140,200. So if you are new, make sure you click that subscribe icon in the bottom right-hand corner and get involved with this fantastic community, of which I just want to say it's Mental Health Day today, or it was trending on Twitter today, so I think it is. Obviously, I've spoken about this in the past, and some of the people who replied to my tweet was really, sad. It's definitely touched my life personally. I do suffer with bouts of depression. I think everybody at some point has some phase of mental illness, because I just think that's part of being a human being. But all I want to say is, and for whatever it means to anybody, we've got a fantastic community here. And as much as people banter with everybody and everything like that, I think if you went on there and you were feeling down before a show, you'd get some nice comments back. And that's one thing. But that is the big lesson, really. And I'm not preaching, but don't ever bottle it up. Don't keep it to yourself. That is the spiral of mental health. You'll fall in a hole, and sometimes that hole's so deep, you alone can't get out of it. But if you ask for help, somebody will get a rope and they'll pull you out. And that is the key to mental health. It really is. Talk to somebody. Don't ever feel embarrassed about it. Don't go into yourself. Speak to somebody, because people will help you, and they'll see. It's that old saying, isn't it, Rodney? There's always somebody worse off than you. There's always somebody who's had your problem, and a problem halved, it takes the weight off you.
Indeed. I mean, my phone has not been on today because of work and the fact that I need a new phone. So the battery's dying, but I wasn't aware that it was Mental Health Day. And and to add to what you said, Mark, I mean, I've had friends suffer. I mean, I've had bouts where I thought, oh gosh, things aren't going too great. And I think the toughest part is actually when you actually speak to your family and tell them that you're having a hard time. And if you are unable to do that, go to your GP and let them know, and then they'll be able to signpost you to a resource or a service that will give you the support and the availability to discuss what's going on for you at any given time. So I echo what Mark's saying, and it's very, very important. I think for me, definitely, as I've got older, I've realised that to be a man, as it was when I was a child, you had to be a particular way, and you're told as a boy, boys don't cry, and then as we grow up and become men and we have relationships, women go, what's your problem? Why can't you relate to me? It's because we've been drilled in a particular way. So talking is very important, and having a laugh about it as well is also part and parcel of the recovery and the understanding from others and yourself. So yeah.
No, good words, Rodney. And you know what? Sometimes it always seems to be a Sunday for me, and coffee can do it, and I'll just get the black. It's horrible. The black cloud descends. There's no reason for it. We've all been sad when there's a reason, but I'll just sometimes get it for no reason. And you know what? I used to keep it to myself for a long time. I'll now go to my wife and I'll say, you know what? The black cloud's descending today, and I don't even know why. And she knows, and she'll say stuff to me. You talk about it and you feel a lot better, because that's the danger. The dangerous one is when you don't know why it's there, and that the brain is, they can make whatever computer they like, but they'll never replicate the human brain because it's chemicals and all sorts, and you're not in control of yourself, but people will help you. Anyway, on to something a bit less controversial.
Real men.
Fellaini. We never get away with not talking about Fellaini.
My hero.
Yeah. And somebody just said there, the Fellaini meltdown lasted all of 24 hours. Last night, everyone was like, we're going to survive without Fellaini. Now, we don't even know how long we've got to survive for him, but we're suddenly like, you know what? Do we really need him? I mean, somebody messaged me today and said, Mark, you're such a bloody hypocrite. You're just pandering to everybody because their Fellaini's out. You don't like him, and you know what? Stick to your guns. We're much better without him. He's not a good footballer. He's just trying hard. We'll be better off without him. And yeah, I do sort of empathise with that, Rodney. I do, because that's been my stance for 3 years. Yeah. But I still think for this particular game, it would have been very valuable, because Liverpool are awful in the air. But we haven't got him, and I think we'll be okay without him. But we don't know how long we won't have him yet.
I mean, Mark, I'm like you, but I've travelled to Old Trafford many times over the last 3 years, watched him in the team, and I thought, what the heck is this guy doing in the squad? I've no idea. The amount of abuse that would go around the ground when they saw him, like, oh no. him again. But this season, he has been trying hard. He has been putting performances in. He did put up a very good performance against Palace, even though it was Palace. He showed up more than Mkhitaryan did. So I can sense why that, people are thinking, oh, how are we going to cope without him? And this is the kind of game that we would need him, considering we don't have Pogba. But when you look at the actual availability we have of midfielders, we've got Angel Gomez, a young talent but not ready. We've got Scott McTominay, young talent, but I don't definitely think's ready. Michael Carrick's injured. For whatever reason, Ander Herrera isn't first choice. Matic is already playing. I mean, who else? Who else is there? Pereira's gone off on loan. I mean, in all seriousness, if Pereira had stayed, would he have been picked for the game on Saturday?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think he
I
would
don't
have.
know. But there was a very interesting. Let me just get it up because not in the literal sense. Let me have a look. Okay, because there was a tweet from Pereira, which I love Pereira, but I had to reply to it. He
Yeah.
said, Andres Pereira this afternoon said, believe in yourself. So I said, you would have stayed at United like Jose wanted you to if you did. Because, it's like, I believe in you, and Jose obviously did, but you sodded off to Valencia to try and get in the Brazil squad. So, your hashtag believe in yourself is a load of nonsense, really. He should be here. If he believed in himself, he'd be an option. And then he'd definitely be on the bench on Saturday because Scott McTominay probably will.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. In all seriousness, this is a player who we watched on tour. He played in three different positions. Deep line midfield, attacking like number 10. You'd think, okay, with those games under your belt, if you stick around, you will get game time. Even he might have got game time in a Champions League game, just like Lindelof has. Where they think, okay, we'll build up your confidence. But in a big time game where we're actually scratching our head because Fellaini isn't there. I mean, in all seriousness, we're actually pinning our hopes on Fellaini when someone of Pereira's talent decides to go on loan. I don't know whether he has a long-term future at Old Trafford. I don't.
Yeah, a few
I'm
people have
not
said
against.
that.
I'm not against him doing it because I think as a young player, when I look at another team in London who's must have 45 players under the age of 24 or 5, they've banked him and they never play any football.
Yeah.
So I'm not against him, but I just think sometimes, it's like sliding doors. You make a decision and then, 6 months down the line, that decision will go against you and not for any, bad will against him or from the club. It's just how things match out. He'll be on loan and what will Mourinho go and do in January? He'll think I need to buy someone.
I mean, in relation to Pereira, I do stand by the fact that he could still be a great player for United, and I think in European football he will be one of the top 10 number 10s in world football in the next 4 or 5 years. Whether that'll be United or not, I don't know, because I think Mourinho took a lot of stick when Pereira went. People say they don't listen to the fans, they don't look at social media. Don't ever believe that nonsense.
Yeah.
These people are human beings. It's like me saying I don't read the negative comments on Twitter about me. I have stopped now, but I did used to.
Yeah.
So it's a load of nonsense. And Mourinho would have saw the backlash about Pereira going. I wasn't happy, you weren't happy, a lot of people weren't. But Mourinho's brilliant, and he comes out publicly says, I wanted him to stay. He didn't believe that he could force his way in. He wanted to go and play for Valencia, which was brilliant by Mourinho. And it's sort of, I've always been very, very positive about Pereira, but he's made a mistake. He's gone to Valencia. He's already played in La Liga last year. What is he trying to prove? He should have stayed. And if he really believes in himself, he would have stayed and backed himself to force himself into the squad. But I still hope he comes back and does really well. We are going to do the Manchester United Liverpool combined 11 of all time, or in our lifetime anyway. I don't think we can touch the 60s really because we weren't alive there. Don't think you were, Rodney, were you?
No.
But we're not going to do it till we've got 500 likes. There's 1,300 of you watching, so as soon as we hit 500 likes, we will start doing that combined 11. Pretty much, I think if we do a cut-off point of 1980, from 1980 on, because that more or less covers it. But 500 likes and we'll do it. So hopefully you'll all hit a like and we'll do that in a minute. But I just want to cap off the Fellaini thing and say it's a real oddity that it was just coming to my head there, Rodney, that it's a real oddity, a nice oddity, that yesterday there was a bit of a meltdown about Fellaini not playing, because that would make the normal person believe based on Fellaini's last 4 years at the club, that United must have a really bad squad to be missing Fellaini. But actually, we've probably got the best squad we've had. I think this is a better squad than the one that won the league under Sir Alex, to be honest. You know, Van Persie and Sir Alex won us that one, and you know, some very experienced coming towards their end of the career players. So yeah, I mean, Fellaini's obviously done very well to be missed in a team that is very good. But and as Mr. Zaki Boy says, Coutinho's just a poor man's Fellaini. I don't know what we're worried about. We've not quite hit the 500 yet, but keep hitting the like button and we'll do it. Let's have a look what else people are saying. Liverpool, one of the best British sides ever in the 80s, to be fair, says George Clancy. They were quite... I do remember the late 80s, actually, Rodney, as I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
I hated them. A couple of lads at work... I wasn't working in the 80s, God no. A couple of lads at school supported Liverpool. And I hated them for that, but I hated Liverpool. They were very, very efficient. I mean, I'm surprised, but they couldn't win anything in Europe because they got us kicked out of Europe. But... yeah. I'm surprised they didn't win the double every year. I mean, I remember Wimbledon beating them in the FA Cup, but realistically, Liverpool should have won that. That would have been another double for them. They were that good. They were nearly, they should have probably won the double from 85 to 90. They were very, very dominant. People like Barnes and Beardsley, and then they had Rush or Aldridge. They were irritatingly good.
Yeah, they were. And they would put teams to the sword. Literally bury them. If they had the chance, they would bury them.
Yeah, I'm sure I remember Forest going up there, getting beat about 9-0 or something ridiculous like that up at Anfield, and they were a very, very good side and comparable to United in the late 80s. I think there's probably only Robson, who'd walk into that team. They were that, maybe, obviously we've not got the dominance at the moment, but I think we're all quite happy to say there's only one or two Liverpool players that would get in our team, and I think unfortunately we'd have to say the same in the late 80s. It pains me to say it, and it's one of the reasons I'd really dislike Liverpool, but they were a good side in the late 80s.
They were very good. I think for me, Robson would probably be the only one that would squeeze into that midfield from that team, that generation, when they were phenomenal. And you would hate to hear the Anfield song as well, because you just knew, oh gosh, it's going to happen. They're going to score, and they would. And the fans, Anfield would carry the team forward to score another goal or to score a late-minute winner. So they've had their moment. It's our time now. But yeah, and at that point in their history, they were very, very good.
We're still 60 short of 500 likes to do the all-time combined United and Liverpool 11. So do it the like if you've not done it yet. But Mr. Freshsea says, that's the key here. That's the key word, were. And I must just remind you, this is the United stand. This isn't Liverpool on the History Channel again. I'm not, it is a long time. Unfortunately, it makes me feel old, but it is a long time since Liverpool won the league. I think, was it 90 they last won it?
Yes.
Yeah, so 28 years, and they're not going to win it this year. I honestly have said this. I'm not convinced that Liverpool will win it again in my lifetime, and I'll be very, very happy about that. I'll probably get knocked over by a bus tomorrow, in which case they're not going to win it in the lifetime. But hopefully, if I live to an average age of about 80, I'm not convinced Liverpool will win it. And I know people will say, well, Leicester won it, but I don't know whether we'll see that happen again. I was stunned that happened. I think that was just a perfect storm of all the big teams just taking their eye off the ball and United going through transition. I just cannot see it happening. But come on then, let's crack on. I'm sure we'll go past 500 likes. Sports HQ, I am doing a FIFA 18 live stream by career mode, 11 o'clock tonight on That's Football. A few people have asked about that, so it will be 11 o'clock tonight. But combined 11, I'll help you with this. We've already done current 11. Somebody was asking about that. We did it about 20 minutes ago on this stream. So if you find it around 15, 20 minutes in, we've already done that. But this is from 1980 to now. A nice little way to sort of come towards the end of the video. 1980 towards now. I'll jump in with you on this, Rodney. Goalkeeper.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I'm going to have to go. The tax thief.
Yeah, do you know what? Grobbelaar was a great keeper, but I'm going to have to go for Schmeichel.
Yeah, that's the one that came to my mind. Grobbelaar was okay, but you couldn't trust him. He was dodgy. So
too busy counting his cash.
Yeah, so definitely Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Right back, I'll have to go through the history here and think. I mean, when I'm thinking of a right back, I always, to be honest, I always think Irwin because he could play right or left, but it's who you'd have at left back.
Yeah,
Thinking of Liverpool fullbacks,
Phil Neal was good in his time for Liverpool.
Was he a right back or a left back?
I think he was right back.
He's too old for me. I think that was the early 80s, wasn't it? So I don't remember that. So if you want to put Phil Neal in there, is he better than Gary Neville?
I'd say they're on par, really.
We'll sod that. We're a Man United channel. We'll put Gary Neville at right back. Centre backs. Well, obviously, I think Alan Hansen was a good centre back. To be fair, and it's who you
put next to him.
We got Vidic, Ferdinand, Pallister, Bruce. You know, you could even say people like Stam.
Actually, I think Stam was, could have been a great at United if he wasn't moved on too quickly. I think we didn't see the best of him.
Modern Mexican says you've got to put Ferdinand in there. Trouble with Ferdinand is that you've already got the ball playing centre back in Hansen.
Yeah,
I'd go Vidic.
Yeah, I think you need someone who's going to go in and do the dirty stuff so that you can look pretty elsewhere.
Yeah,
Vidic would have to be in.
Chad Sproul says put Carragher in there for the jokes with Gary Neville. I tell you what Carragher can do. He can sit on the bench and he can be the washing the kit man. Because I tell you what, I wouldn't put him in a combined 11 from the time he played in whatever season he had his best season. I don't rate Carragher. I always thought he was pretty poor, really.
Yeah,
so yeah, Vidic, Hansen, Gary Neville, left back.
For me, it has to be Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a Liverpool one, but I don't think there is left back wise. Unless we do Mourinho.
No.
I think Irwin. The only one who'd push Irwin is Evra, but Irwin was just fantastic. Very, very, very underrated. Sort of in the role of a sort of Carrick, but obviously not a centre midfielder. But
do you know who he reminds me of, Irwin? And I think of it. The German right back, left back, who just retired.
Oh yes, Philip Lahm.
Lahm. Yeah. Just, someone who goes about their business. Very simple. Just I'll play anywhere.
For those who don't know anything about Irwin, I think that's a brilliant analogy there. That just think Philip Lahm, because that's how good Dennis Irwin was.
He was that good.
Yeah. Some people are saying Hansen should be out for Ferdinand. Hansen was a very good centre back, as much as he, made that famous quote that he'll always be famous for. He was very good, Hansen, to be fair. So yeah, Hansen over Ferdinand. But yeah, actually, you know what? You could say Ferdinand. I just think they were very dominant in the late 80s, and he was a big part of that. So we've still got 4 United players to their 1 anyway. So we're still absolutely smashing them. Moving into the midfield, I'm thinking of somebody who can dislodge Keane, Scholes, Beckham, and Giggs. To be honest, and. There isn't anyone in a Liverpool shirt. I mean, they're going to say Gerrard, forget it. Gerrard is not Keane and he's not Scholes. So Gerrard's not having it, in my view.
I mean, Keane, for me, one of my favourite players. One of my favourite players. He'd have to be in any United team, whether it be a combo team or all United. It's for me, he has to be in there, in the middle.
A lot of people are saying play a midfield 3 of Keane, Robson and Scholes. Which I just went all goosebumps because I just thought, well, you know what? That would pretty much do me. I just can't think of a Liverpool player that would go in there. I'm just thinking the team I remember of Liverpool in the late 80s, you had people like McMahon in there. Well, he can forget it. And they were quite workmanlike.
No.
I know they had Souness and Dalglish, but I don't remember them. Dalglish was right towards the end of his career. He was player manager when I remember him. So, and Souness had been long gone, so I can't say Souness. Apparently, Souness was very like sort of a Roy Keane, but the only one I could say is Gerrard, and I would not put Gerrard in. So I would say Scholes, Robson, Keane as a midfield 3 would do me. Darth Vader says Gerrard, Scholes, Keane. I think Robson was better than Gerrard.
I'm old enough to remember Souness. He was one tough tackling player. He was on par on his day. The Keane of that generation would take no nonsense from anyone. He was notorious for his tackling.
So who would Keane or Souness?
I would like to have both in there.
You can't drop Scholes or Robson though, or can you?
Controversy. Can you believe it? Um, do you know what? I get Scholes is just let. Oh gosh. Sorry, Souness, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone,
Yeah.
Souness.
So
Bye.
we've still got one Liverpool player out of 8 with 3 spots to go. So we're doing a 4-3-3 by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's got to be in there, surely. I mean, I know some
Yeah.
people say he's not a great because he wasn't here that long, but he's the best player I've ever seen.
No, he's just
in an
for
attacking
what he's
sense.
achieved in football is phenomenal.
Yeah, Abraham says it's got to be Ronaldo. Look, if you don't remember Ronaldo, and how many years ago was it Ronaldo was coming up for 10 now?
Yeah.
Some of you won't remember him, but he, people get lost with, look at De Bruyne, look at Aguero, what great players they are. Ronaldo, every week from the wing, was scoring goals.
Yeah.
And single-handedly, a lot of the goals out of nothing. I mean, he was the free kick. He was just, for that couple of seasons where he was prime, he's just on another planet. The best, absolutely brilliant. And people say, Thierry Henry is the best player from the Premier League. Thierry Henry played up front. Ronaldo played on the wing and was scoring over 30 goals a season. So, Ronaldo's there. From Liverpool, Beardsley and Barnes were good.
Barnes was a very good player. Barnes was a very good left wing player who ended his career in the middle of the park.
I think Giggs was better than Barnes.
Giggs. When you watch Giggs, you just think, oh. I mean, they're both, considering they're both left-footed players, they're both, extremely talented. But I would always go with Giggs.
I think Giggs on the left, Ronaldo on the right, and then we just need a forward. And who've Liverpool had over the years? Suarez, Torres, Rush, Aldridge.
We could say Michael Owen just to give him a sweetener, but he played for us as well, so
Or we could just say Rooney. or Van Nistelrooy,
Yeah, or Cole or York or any of those strikers. I think Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
I think Van Nistelrooy.
I personally do think that prime Rooney is better than Rush, Aldridge, Beardsley, Torres, Suarez, anything Liverpool want to mention. I think prime Rooney is. But if you want an out-and-out goal scorer, Van Nistelrooy was just absolutely mad. The bottom line is there's only one Liverpool player getting in, and that's arguable because people are saying it should be Ferdinand over Hansen. So, obviously it's the United stand, but I don't feel it's biased. I'd almost like to see a Liverpool fan content show try and get more than a couple of their players into an all-time United team, because even with bias, I think you're really struggling. They genuinely think they've got legends. They genuinely think people like Dalglish are on a par with Cantona, and Souness is on a par with Keane, and Gerrard's on a par with bloody Bobby Charlton. They really don't have a lot of... they won I always wind Liverpool fans up, actually, because they go about 5 times. But I'm telling you what, at least 4 of their European Cups were a joke. The standard in the early 80s was rubbish. Forest won it twice. Aston Villa won it. Unfortunately, United were also rubbish at that time. But the Liverpool had a period of domination at a time when the European football wasn't that good. European football has been very good during the Champions League stage, and it was very good in the sort of late 50s, 60s, start of the 70s, and then from around the mid-70s to around the mid-80s, well, probably actually later than that. The European football wasn't that good in the late 80s either. Liverpool just caught it perfectly and won a lot of European Cups.
Yeah. I've looked at the comment, and it's Richard Grace, and he's put Cantona any day, and I cannot believe I did not say his name.
It was always in my head, but I think if you're playing a 4-3-3 and where does Cantona fit in? Is he your out-and-out striker? I'd still probably go Van Nistelrooy, because we're playing a modern formation, aren't we? If we're playing if you're playing with a number 10, you've got to have Cantona.
Yeah, definitely.
George
could be here all day.
George says, I'm not happy. Liverpool and Forest were both excellent. I'm not disagreeing with them being good teams of the time. I just think European football wasn't great at the time. You look at some of the teams that Liverpool beat. Off the top of my head, I think one was a Belgian team, Borussia Mönchengladbach. You know, they weren't the teams like Real Madrid and everyone like that. They weren't actually that good at that time.
No. Liverpool had a very, very good way and a methodical way of playing football at that time when they were winning the European Cup. It's much harder now. The league system and also the revenue that teams are getting from TV across Europe means that Liverpool can't cherry pick the players like they used to. And, you know, and that just doesn't mean players across Europe. It means players in the UK. So,
Jesse Jack says that Gerrard is in the top 3 greatest midfielders to ever play in the Premier League. I don't disagree with you, but we've just named a midfield 3. Scholes is number 2.
Top 3.
Scholes is 2. Keane's 1, and Brian Robson didn't play in the Premier League, so that's our midfield 3. So you know, Gerrard, third place is no place. So you're not in.
Yeah, he's in ahead of Patrick Vieira. I take it.
I'll tell you what though, just on Gerrard very quickly, because it's the sort of show where we can talk about that. I don't like Gerrard. I've got to be honest with you. I don't like him, but I think this is a big. Gerrard almost epitomises the problem with the British press, because they want Gerrard, and now he's on BT and everything like that. They want Gerrard to go down as an England legend. Oh, what a player. They want Gerrard to sort of be the next Sir Bobby Charlton for the next 50 years. Oh, what a player Gerrard was. He did win a European Cup. AC Milan blew it. But he never won a Premier League because he's a Roy of the Rovers player. He's a selfish player. He's not a team player. He can win your cups because cups can be won on moments. Like I think about that equaliser he got late against West Ham in an FA Cup game. But over a 38-game season, he's not a team player. He's not a team player. And for England, he spectacularly failed. So how can he be said to be an absolute legend of English football when he was captain of Liverpool and he couldn't inspire them to a Premier League title, and they did have teams good enough to win it, and he played for England, and England were pretty much atrocious with him. So I don't know what you think, Rodney. I mean, there's no doubting he was a decent player, but he doesn't come close to Scholes anyway. If anyone knows anything about football, Scholes wasn't even English. His technique was just, a bit like Carrick, really. They don't. England didn't deserve players like that. You know, they'd have walked into the Spain team. Gerrard wouldn't get near the Spain team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, England did not do the right thing by Paul Scholes. Ever. I mean, they played him out on the left. You don't play someone like Paul Scholes out on the left to fit in Gerrard and Lampard. Never. Scholes in Spain, he's going to be the main man in the Spanish team. He'll be the main man in the French team. He'd be the main man in the German team. Steven Gerrard, and I'm sure this was said by Souness, would never be a great player until he realises that the ball moves quicker than him running with the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about how you play the ball around for your teammates. It's great having Roy the Rovers stuff, but it doesn't always work.
No,
and
Gerrard was very
Scholes
much about himself. He was a selfish player.
Paul Scholes is a player that never ever. I mean, he's not known for his lung bursting runs, is he? You know, he's about passing the ball or moving it quickly, getting into space, and you know, if you could do a DVD of Steven Gerrard's goals and then Paul Scholes' goals, I know which one would sell more and be more popular. Anyone who wants to know how to strike a ball at any given point from any position outside the box.
Watch the goal against Aston Villa.
Yeah,
not many players can hit a ball like that. That's technique.
No, so yeah, and even now watching them on repeats, you just think, "Oh, that was great."
Yeah,
you know, that was great. So, no, for me, not Steven Gerrard as an England legend. You know, there's only one England legend, and he's a director at Manchester United.
And Donald Edgerton just kills the argument and says Scholes could have played for Spain. Lampard and Gerrard would struggle to play for Tenerife. I think I will be a positive about Gerrard. Gerrard is far superior to Lampard. I think Lampard deserves a massive pat on the back for what he achieved in his career, because I actually don't think I think he made the most of his talents. I don't think Lampard should ever be mentioned in the same sentence as Gerrard and Scholes, who are, you know, naturally talented footballers. I think Lampard just worked on his game and timed his runs and had a good shot on him. Again, another player who was just pretty poor for England, and benefited from playing in a decent team and worked hard on his game, Lampard. But the natural footballers definitely Gerrard and Scholes, but Scholes way out ahead. Anyway, that hour has flown by, Rodney. Thanks for coming on as ever. Really enjoyed it. We thought we might struggle for topics. We certainly didn't.
No, not at all.
So thanks for coming on. What's your Twitter feed?
It's at Rodney_Cyrus with a C.
There you go. You can give Rodney a follow on Twitter. Really appreciated that. Hopefully, we started off with confidence. That will continue through the week. Yeah. Gerrard will always be a legend for that slip. You're right. And yes, we are, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. We are interviewing Juan Mata on Thursday night. Really looking forward to that. Won't be going up until Friday, but it's going to happen on Thursday nights.
Excellent. So, and then obviously United, Liverpool. But I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with the tactics preview. Lots planned. I don't know when United are playing next. If they're not playing next Tuesday, obviously Rodney will be on. If not, we'll have to see when we can fit him on again. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for everybody watching. Really enjoyed the show. I think sometimes the shows that just flow without really any headlines are the best ones. So thanks everybody on the live comments. Absolutely brilliant as per usual. We did surpass 140,200 subscribers, which is great. And we'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Tactics preview. We'll get the board and the yellow pen out. But thanks, everyone. I'll speak to you all soon. Oh, forgot to say as well. FIFA 18 career mode on That's Football at 11 o'clock tonight. And then we're done, Rodney. Thanks for that, pal. Thanks a lot, Mark. It's great. I don't know how you find time. You're doing another thing tonight at 11. Go on.